On a quiet night in 1983, deep in the woods, a terrible betrayal unfolds. Bruce Pierce and Gary Yarbrough, pretending to be loyal friends, lead Walter West into the dark forest. Walter doesn't realize the danger he's in until it's too late. A gunshot rings out, shattering the silence. Walter falls to the ground. This moment marks the beginning of a deadly chain of events. Meanwhile, in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, FBI agent Terry Husk arrives at his new post. Husk is a man carrying a heavy past. He's known for his ability to solve tough cases. Husk reviews a case file on the Aryan Nation and its founder, Richard Butler, indicating the presence of a dangerous extremist network in the area. Not far away, in Spokane, Washington, Bob Matthews, along with Pierce Yarbrough and David Lane, execute a daring robbery at a Washington Mutual branch. The stolen funds are intended to support their white supremacist agenda and Matthews' personal affairs. Matthews distributes the money to his pregnant mistress. Husk meets Deputy Jamie Bowen at the local sheriff's department. Bowen offers to take him to Richard Butler's compound in Hayden Lake, Idaho. Bowen, who has a mixed-race family, shares that Walter West, missing for weeks, was a childhood friend and part of the Aryan Nation. Before disappearing, West told Bowen about the group's fake money operations, giving Husk an important lead in the case. With Bowen's assistance, Husk delves deeper into the Aryan Nation's activities, uncovering a web of crimes, including counterfeiting, bombings, and robberies. All evidence points towards a splinter faction led by Matthews, who is orchestrating these operations to fund and advance their extremist ideology. The investigation takes a critical turn when Husk and Bowen discover Walter West's shallow grave. This grim finding confirms their suspicions about the group's capacity for violence and propels the investigation into a more dangerous phase, underscoring the immediate threat posed by Matthews and his followers. Husk and Bowen visit Richard Butler at his compound, a secluded location surrounded by followers and Aryan Nation symbols. They confront Butler about his ties to Matthews and his group, questioning his role in the growing violence. Butler denies any direct involvement, claiming Matthews' actions are not under his control. Bob Matthews and his group increase their criminal activities to support their extremist plans. They plant bombs at places like synagogues and theaters to spread fear and chaos. They also carry out bold bank robberies and steal money from armored trucks across the Pacific Northwest, confusing the police and frightening the public. Bob Matthews has a chance to shoot FBI agent Terry Husk during the robbery but decides not to. This moment shows Matthews' hesitation, leaving his reasons unclear, whether it's internal conflict or a choice to avoid more violence. These violent actions are part of their bigger plan to take down the government and create a white supremacist state. Bob Matthews gives a fiery speech, urging locals to take action and fight for their beliefs. Inspired by his words, the group begins paramilitary training with firearms to prepare for their cause. They then carry out an armored truck robbery on a remote highway. They manage to get away from cops and successfully seizes a large amount of money to support their extremist activities. Terry Husk interrogates Tony Torres, a recent recruit in Bob Matthews' group. Under pressure, Torres becomes an informant and leads the FBI to a motel meeting with Matthews and his associates. Husk attempts to arrest Matthews, resulting in a shootout where Gary Yarbrough is apprehended. Matthews escapes after fatally shooting Deputy Jamie Bowen, who dies from the wound. Husk leads a raid on Bob Matthews' remote safe house. During the operation, 2 of Matthews' associates are apprehended. Matthews, however, resists arrest, engaging in a fierce gunfight with the agents. As the standoff intensifies, the FBI sets the house ablaze, attempting to force Matthews out. Undeterred, Matthews remains inside, demonstrating his commitment to the mission. Husk enters the burning building to persuade Matthews to surrender. Inside, he finds Matthews resolute, choosing to face death rather than capture. Matthews refuses to surrender, closing the door, accepting his fate as the flames engulf the house. Husk returns to the wilderness, seeking solace. Bob Matthews perished in the fire, and his associates were imprisoned. However, the hateful ideology he propagated endures. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.